Hello, my name is Tom Condon. I'm the coordinator of photography, drawing, and painting at the Penland School of Craft. Today, I'll be sharing two bodies of work that investigate my experience with visual impairment. As a teen, I experienced a medical condition called idiopathic pseudotumor cerebris, which caused increased intracranial pressure on my optic nerves, resulting in temporary blindness and permanent scarring of the nerve tissue. Because there are no healthy cells to detect light on the optic disc, the corresponding part of the field of vision is invisible. Processes in our brains interpolate the blind spot based on surrounding detail and information from the other eye, ultimately creating perceptual fabrications. This photographic series examines the psychological and physical effects of my experience through the digital documentation of a Braille catalog. Photographed in shifting light with shallow focus and removed from its original context, the tactile language is transformed into a visual landscape. Trace oils and fingerprints on the original Braille inspired me to make each print singular or unique. I applied cold wax directly to the surface of each photograph by hand. Massaging the oily medium into the print obscured the visual clarity of the sourced Braille and engaged my hand in an intimate reading of the surface information. This process was finalized by painting over the waxed photograph with dry pigments and metallic powders, followed by selectively applying high levels of heat to the print with a hand torch or embossing gun, infusing the wax and powders into the image, each finished piece appearing as though it had been frozen between a workable and fixable state, self-animating in shifting environmental light. This Braille series emphasizes the similar working mechanisms of the traditional camera and the human eye, both ultimately dependent on light. The glowing spotlights, atmospheric floaters, and colorful auras that hover above and below implied horizons evoke the intense sensations and radiating colors I remember from the moments after I regained my sight. My recent work is comprised of chemograms, an experimental method of painting on light-sensitive paper with photographic chemicals to create new rather than reveal existing images. The papers and chemicals used are traditional black and white photographic media. However, the exposure and the processing of the paper are executed in daylight instead of the dark. This overexposure to light pushes the paper beyond producing shades of gray and into a strange palette of fleshy, almost bruised tones of yellow, pink, purple, brown, and blue. As a non-objective artist, I engage in an intuitively haptic process of manipulating paper, emulsion, light, chemistry, and time to generate cameraless photographs. I use unconventional materials as resists to mediate the paper's response to light and chemistry, inviting chance as a partner in authorship. I construct art objects to reflect material experiences rather than engage with the primary function of the photograph as a mode of documentation or image transmission. This technique explores the flexibility of photographic material and the elasticity of photographic identity. My blind spots transform familiar faces into strange masks and bend simple patterns into animated optical illusions. Seemingly recognizable forms transmogrify into dreamlike creatures, allowing my imagination to provide as much information as the natural world. My relationship with identification through visual perception slips between fully believing in the unreal and questioning the real. Employing photography as the vehicle to navigate the space between these two polar experiences amplifies the human need for image recognition and demands a recognition of what potentially could be. I imagine the simultaneous impossibility of the abstract and the familiarity of the real, precariously combining to counter photography's often presumed objectivity. Thank you.
Hello there, this is Alena Applerose, and welcome to my slide presentation for the spring of 2020, Adornment and Illustration, a year of Studio Yes. This is me at my home at the base of the Black Mountains in western North Carolina. I'm a maker, baker, and art educator. My home studio practice involves jewelry, illustration, and elementary arts education lesson plans. I'm inspired by nature, family, and cultural traditions, and I'm a proponent of reduce, reuse, recycle, translating into wearables and jewelry and sculpture and other forms of art. I believe that life is meant to be adorned with beauty for our body, minds, and home. This year, 2020, I set some new goals for myself as far as my art and studio practice is concerned. And here you can see them. I decided to submit monthly to open calls, to use my skills of networking and marketing, work on really promoting myself and my work this year, increase my online presence for brand awareness, and improve my illustration, metalworking, and writing skills in 2020. And so, like all good things, we might as well start off with a PBR. My first submission this year was for the PBR Can Art Contest, and you can see this image right here called Blue Ribbon Classic. Offers you movement, a sense of festiveness, and I'm hopeful that it gives you the feeling of being on the State Fair midway. Maybe you can even hear the barkers calling in the background and smell the popcorn and see all the lights flashing. I didn't win, but it was fun practice. Next submission I moved on to was something closer to home for the Carolina Mountain Literary Festival. Their theme, Connections, Stories of Family, Community, History, and the Land, really spoke to me. I took a lot of time to create a number of detailed small sketches, which I then made a palette for myself of those sketches and created the final image, which was chosen by the committee to represent the festival and is being used currently on all of their promotional materials. So I was pretty excited about that submission. Not only did I get the chance to have a digital illustration get chosen, I was able to take some of those drawings, specifically my dogwood design, and have it turned into a number of wearable items, which could be purchased by my friends and even worn by my teenager in public, which was pretty exciting, as you can see here with my spider's backpack. Moving on to my metalworking and jewelry practice, the World Championship Belt Buckle Competition has been on my radar for the past couple of years. Put on by Montana State University, hosted by Brian Peterson, and this year co-jurred by Brian Peterson and Bob Evendorf. My belt buckle, She Walks the Woods in Darkness, made from recycled number 10 steel can, copper, enamel, checked glass, seed beads, and recycled plastic, was chosen to be in the final exhibition, which is still up. If you happen to be in Santa Fe, New Mexico, you can check it out at the Foreman Concept Gallery. And here's my little in-the-dark surprise, because, business all day, party all night. It's fun to have a little secret waiting for you. Continuing on with my jewelry, I just rode the wave and entered into the Danica Design Studio Battle of the Rings Ring Smackdown. It'll be starting on Instagram beginning of June, and out of 128 rings, mine was one of the 64 chosen to be in the Smackdown finals. So if you're online, I hope you'll give me a shout when my ring gets up there. Coming back over to my illustration work, I really want to talk about images like this static image layered all on top of each other. What I've been loving so much is the ability to turn these images, which seem static, into really sweet little video clips, small animations. And it makes me really, really happy to watch them. And so here's one more. This one here, you can see, it just looks like a bunch of blob lines, kind of a mess. You can see some words. But then I'm just so tickled by the fact that really, if you give that a minute, it's actually a mock-up of a book that I'm working on for children to teach them about turtles in a very simple way, and to offer English and Spanish when I go into the classroom with suitcases, or any other time that I might get the opportunity to be in the classroom with kids and have a lesson. That's fun. Turtles, why not? Las tortugas. So here's a list of my current exhibitions and my online presence. And let me leave you here with me in my happy place, which is just on my couch, looking out the window at the Black Mountains, thinking about how fortunate my life is, and really appreciating that I believe that I can do these things that I love. So thank you for watching.